Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive. We're doing things a little differently this time.
Oh, yeah, definitely different.
We're diving into Bill Bryson's Says, a short history of nearly everything.
Such a great book.
It is, but we're tackling excerpts from it, kind of like a greatest hits of science,
Yeah.
to give you all the most interesting bits.
Oh,
Are you ready to have your mind blown wide open?
always ready for that.
Me too. Okay, so first off, what I love about this book is how Bryson takes these massive, complex, scientific ideas
Right.
and makes them understandable and funny.
It's true. He's got such a knack for explaining things in a way that just clicks, you know?
Yeah, seriously. It's like he's just sitting there with you, like chatting, sharing these mind-blowing facts over a cup of coffee or something.
Well, I like that analogy a lot.
That's exactly what we're going for here.
Exactly. Make it fun and engaging.
By the end of this, you'll be dropping science knowledge like a pro.
I love it.
Guaranteed. Okay, so let's dive into the ultimate origin story, existence itself. And the universe's mind-bogglingly unlikely beginning. I mean,
Where do we even begin with that?
I know, right?
It's so hard to wrap your head around.
Well, picture this, okay?
Yeah.
Trillions upon trillions of atoms just, hanging out, doing their thing.
Right.
And they somehow came together to form you.
It's almost impossible to grasp the sheer scale of it.
It's crazy, right? You
Yeah.
talk about a cosmic coincidence. But here's the thing. This atomic party you call yourself,
Yeah.
it's temporary.
Totally.
A blink of an eye in, the grand scheme of the universe's history.
Exactly. We're just a blip on the radar.
And that history starts with a bang.
You mean
The Big Bang, of course.
the Big Bang had to?
Bryson describes it as a badly erected tent,
What?
which I love.
I've never heard that one before.
It's the perfect analogy. It captures that precarious balance of forces that had to be just so for our universe to even exist.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling to think about all the things that had to go exactly right for us to be here.
For sure. And speaking of delicate balances, the discovery of cosmic background radiation.
Ah, yes, the afterglow of the Big Bang.
Exactly. It's this incredible evidence that supports the Big Bang theory.
It's like finding a fingerprint at a crime scene, you know?
Totally. And sometimes those discoveries are total accidents.
Oh, yeah, tell me about it.
The scientists who stumbled upon this radiation, they didn't even know what they were looking at.
Really?
At first, it makes you wonder how many other, mind-blowing secrets are out there just waiting to be found.
It's true. Who knows what else is lurking out there in the universe, just waiting to be discovered?
Okay, so speaking of mysteries, let's zoom out a bit from the beginning of, everything
Okay.
and talk about our place in the cosmos.
I'm ready.
And, that eternal question, is there other life out there?
The big question, right?
Those pictures of the solar system we all saw in school, right?
Oh, yeah, with the planets all lined up in a neat little row.
They make it look like everything's all nice and cozy, like the planets are just, waiting for a bus or something.
They definitely simplify things a bit.
They're lying to us, those pictures.
Aha, in a way.
In reality, space is mostly,
Empty space.
exactly, emptiness.
Yeah.
It's like those maps that say, not drawn to scale.
Right.
If we actually showed the distances between planets accurately, you'd barely see anything.
It would just be a vast empty canvas.
A whole lot of nothing.
Right.
And poor Pluto. Remember when it got demoted from planet status?
Oh, yeah, that was a sad day for Pluto.
Turns out its moon Charon is pretty substantial, and Pluto itself is actually smaller than our own moon.
Ouch. That's gotta hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a dwarf planet now, but it does make you wonder what else is lurking out there in the vastness of space.
Absolutely, there's so much we don't know.
We have the Drake equation, remember?
Yeah.
This fascinating attempt to calculate the probability of extraterrestrial life.
It's a pretty complex equation taking into account all sorts of factors.
It takes into account things like star formation rates and how many stars might have planets suitable for life.
Right, it's trying to estimate the chances of finding other civilizations out there.
It's like a cosmic guessing game,
Yeah.
but based on, real science.
And then there are supernovae.
Oh, yes, those epic explosions. The biggest fireworks shows in the universe.
They're incredible, literally the death throes of giant stars.
And they're responsible for creating many of the elements that are necessary for life.
Right, they scatter these elements across the cosmos like seeds.
Exactly like cosmic confetti. And those elements eventually become part of new stars' planets and maybe even new forms of life.
It's a beautiful cycle of creation and destruction.
Pretty amazing, right?
Absolutely mind-blowing.
Okay, are you ready to come back down to Earth?
Back to reality.
Let's explore our own planet's wild history. From dinosaurs to the forces that shape the continents.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's start with the rock stars of prehistory.
You mean?
The dinosaurs, of course.
The dinosaurs, of course.
And while we're at it, let's give a shout out to a true unsung hero, Mary Anning.
Mary Anning, I don't think I've heard of her.
She was this self-taught fossil hunter back in the early 1800s, making groundbreaking discoveries,
Wow.
finding these incredible creatures long before anyone else. But sadly, she didn't really get the recognition she deserved.
That's often the case with pioneers, especially in science.
She unearthed some of the most important fossils of the 19th century, but her contributions were largely ignored during her lifetime.
It's a shame that her work wasn't fully appreciated at the time.
It is, but the dinosaur world wasn't all doom and gloom, right?
Well, no, not exactly.
We had the Bone Wars,
The what?
this hilarious rivalry between two paleontologists, Cope and Marsh.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about this.
They were basically trying to one-up each other in the most ridiculous ways.
It was like a scientific feud of epic proportions.
Imagine being so obsessed with dinosaurs that you're literally throwing rocks at your rival.
It sounds more like a playground fight than a scientific debate.
I know, right?
Oh,
But it's kind of inspiring in a weirdly competitive way.
I guess so. It's amazing what lengths people will go to for their passion.
But what's truly mind-boggling? For centuries, scientists struggled to figure out how old their Earth actually is.
Yeah, that's a big question.
And we're throwing out numbers all over the place.
Trying to make sense of the vastness of time.
Remember Lord Kelvin and his calculations based on cooling rates?
Oh, yeah, he was a brilliant physicist, but his estimates were way off.
Way off. And then we have Alfred Wegener, this weatherman, who dared to suggest that the continents weren't fixed,
Right, he proposed the idea of continental drift.
Exactly. And the scientific community basically laughed him out of the room.
They weren't ready for such a radical idea.
They were so attached to this idea of land bridges connecting continents to explain why similar fossils were found in different parts of the world.
Even though there was no evidence of these bridges ever existing.
It shows how tough it can be for revolutionary ideas to gain acceptance, especially when they challenge those long-held beliefs.
Especially when those beliefs are held by the scientific establishment.
But eventually, Wegener's ideas would form the basis for the theory of plate tectonics.
One of the most fundamental concepts in geology.
This amazing process that explains earthquakes, volcanoes, and the movement of continents.
It's incredible to think that the ground beneath our feet is constantly shifting and changing.
And then, of course, there was the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs.
Slub impact.
Talk about a bad day for the dinosaurs.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't a good day for them.
It's a stark reminder of these incredible forces that have shaped our planet and the fragile balance of life on Earth.
It makes you appreciate the delicate balance that allows life to thrive.
So we've gone from the vastness of space to the dramatic history of our own planet, and we're just getting started.
I can't wait to see what's next.
Hold on tight, because next we're shrinking down to the microscopic world to explore the wonders of cells and DNA.
That sounds fascinating.
Get ready to be amazed.
I'm ready.
Welcome back to our deep dive, into a short history of nearly everything ready to shrink down to the microscopic world.
I am.
It's just as mind-blowing as the vastness of space. Trust me.
I believe it.
Okay, so where do we begin in this tiny realm of wonders?
Well, we got to start with Antonie van Leeuwenhoek.
Ah, yes, Leeuwenhoek.
Remember Robert Hooke, the one who first saw cells under a microscope?
Right.
Well, Leeuwenhoek took things to a whole new level.
He built hundreds of microscopes, right?
He did.
All incredibly powerful, and get this completely self-taught,
Wow.
just a draper with an insatiable curiosity.
It's amazing what you can accomplish with passion and dedication.
And with those microscopes, he opened up this whole new universe of tiny life, that no one had ever seen before.
It must have been like discovering a whole new world.
Bacteria, protozoa, blood cells. He revealed them all. Revolutionized our understanding of life's building blocks.
It's incredible to think about how much we didn't know about the world around us until the invention of the microscope.
Right. It's amazing how much we can learn just by, observing.
Absolutely.
By really looking at the world around us, no matter how small.
We often take the microscopic world for granted, but it's teeming with life and complexity.
But observing is only part of the story.
Right.
We also have to make sense of what we see.
Exactly.
And that's where, theories like evolution come in.
Evolution, the grand unifying theory of biology.
And when we talk about evolution, we can't forget Charles Darwin.
The father of evolution.
He was so hesitant to publish his groundbreaking ideas.
He knew they'd be controversial.
He actually called himself the devil's chaplain for proposing evolution.
Wow, that's intense.
Can you imagine the pressure knowing your work would challenge, these deeply held religious beliefs,
It must have taken a lot of courage to stand up for his ideas.
even the beliefs of his own wife.
I can't even imagine.
But his work, along with, the later rediscovery of Gregor Mendel's experiments with peas,
Ah, Mendel the pea pioneer.
it laid the foundation for our modern understanding of how life on Earth has changed over millions of years.
It's amazing to think that the humble pea plant played such a key role in our understanding of genetics.
And Mendel's story is fascinating, too.
Tell me about it.
He was carefully breeding generations of peas, tracking traits, and uncovering these incredible insights into inheritance.
He was really ahead of his time.
And when he presented his findings, crickets.
Oh, no.
His work was largely ignored during his lifetime.
That's so often the case with groundbreaking discoveries. They're not always appreciated in their own time.
It's a reminder that even, groundbreaking discoveries can be overlooked sometimes for decades.
And then sometimes they're rediscovered and revolutionize our understanding of the world.
Speaking of discoveries, the story of DNA is like something straight out of a detective novel.
It's true. There's intrigue competition and brilliant minds at work.
It's a story of collaboration, competition, and some seriously quirky personalities.
The drama of science.
We have Watson and Crick. These two scientists determined to crack the code of DNA's structure.
They're quite a pair, weren't they?
And they weren't even supposed to be working on DNA.
What?
They were like the rebels of the scientific world, pushing boundaries, bending the rules.
Sounds like my kind of scientist.
And they did it all with a healthy dose of ambition.
And maybe a touch of arrogance, too.
Maybe just a touch.
But hey, they got results.
And we can't forget Rosalind Franklin, whose X-ray images of DNA were absolutely crucial to Watson and Crick's success.
Ah, Rosalind Franklin. Her contribution is often overlooked.
She was a brilliant scientist, who sadly didn't get the recognition she deserved during her lifetime.
It's a shame that her role in the discovery of DNA wasn't fully acknowledged at the time.
It is a reminder that the history of science is full of these complex dynamics and individual contributions can be overshadowed even when they're essential to the breakthrough.
Science is a collaborative effort, and sometimes the credit doesn't always go where it's due.
And the ending of the story, the structure of DNA itself, it's this elegant double helix like a twisted ladder.
It's such a beautiful and iconic structure.
It's a structure that just screams beauty and functionality.
Form follows function, as they say.
It's the blueprint for life.
Yeah.
The instructions for building and maintaining every living organism.
It's mind-blowing to think that all the complexity of life is encoded in this simple yet elegant molecule.
And here's the mind-blowing part.
What's that?
Despite all this complexity, we humans are 99.9% genetically identical.
99.9%. That's amazing.
We're practically all long-lost cousins.
It really puts things in perspective, doesn't it?
But here's the catch. Even that tiny 0.1% difference is what makes each of us unique.
Right. It's what accounts for all the diversity we see in the human race.
It's what makes each of us a one-of-a-kind masterpiece, a unique expression of that genetic code.
We're all unique snowflakes.
It's both humbling and awe-inspiring.
It really is.
It makes you really think about what it means to be human, right?
It does.
We're connected by this shared genetic heritage. Yet each of us is an individual, a unique expression of that code.
It's a beautiful paradox.
And it's not just humans either. Get this, we share over 60% of our genes with fruit flies.
You're kidding.
And at least 90% with mice. We even have the genes for making a tail. They're just switched off.
Wow, so we're all just modified mice in a way.
We're basically walking, talking fruit flies with hidden tails.
That's a funny thought.
It's a reminder that all life on Earth is interconnected.
Right. We all share a common ancestor somewhere way back in time.
It's a profound concept, this idea of shared ancestry.
It really changes the way you look at the world.
It makes you look at, all life on Earth with a sense of kinship, of connection. It challenges us to reconsider our place in this grand web of life.
We're all in this together.
Okay, I'm officially feeling connected to all living things, tails and all.
I'm with you on that.
But the world of the very small isn't just about genes and DNA. We also have these amazing organisms called extremophiles.
Ah, extremophiles, the survivalists of the microbial world.
Life forms that thrive in conditions that seem absolutely impossible.
They can survive in places that would kill most other organisms.
They're like the superheroes of the microbial world, laughing in the face of boiling water, freezing temperatures, and crushing pressures.
Like Pyrolobis fumaria, that heat-loving microbe we talked about earlier.
Yeah, right. Proof that life can exist in, places we once thought were completely uninhabitable.
Makes you wonder what else is out there in the universe.
It does.
What other strange and wonderful forms of life might exist?
It challenges our assumptions about what it means to be alive,
Yeah.
and it demonstrates this incredible resilience of life on Earth.
Life finds a way.
But of course, not all microbes are so benign.
True. Some can be quite harmful.
Some bacteria can cause, serious harm leading to diseases and even pandemics.
It's a reminder that the microbial world is a double-edged sword.
It's a reminder that the microbial world is a complex and dynamic one,
Absolutely.
full of both beneficial and harmful organisms.
It's a delicate balance.
And as we continue to use antibiotics, we're inadvertently creating superbugs.
Right. Bacteria that are resistant to our most powerful drugs.
It's a serious concern, and it highlights the importance of responsible antibiotic use and the need to develop new strategies for, combating bacterial infections.
We can't afford to become complacent in the fight against infectious diseases.
So from the intricate machinery of cells and the wonders of DNA to the incredible diversity of, microbial life, we've seen that the microscopic world is just as awe-inspiring as the vastness of the cosmos.
It's a whole other universe down there.
But our journey through a short history of nearly everything isn't over yet.
Oh, no.
We still have to explore the interconnectedness of life and the impact of humans on the planet.
I'm ready for the next chapter.
Buckle up, because we're about to dive into some thought-provoking territory.
I'm sure it will be.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive into a short history of nearly everything we've explored. The universe's beginnings, the microscopic world, and now we're landing on a topic that hits close to home. The interconnectedness of life, and let's be real, the impact we humans have had on this planet.
It's a big one, and it makes you think about our role.
Yeah.
Our responsibility as a species.
Absolutely.
Right.
We've already talked about how much of our DNA we share with other creatures.
Right.
But Bryson throws out a number that just blew my mind. 90%.
90%. What the?
Of our genes correlate with those found in mice.
90%. Wow. That's incredible.
It's amazing, isn't it? It really hammers home this point.
Yeah.
That we're all part of this grand, interconnected web of life. We're all related from the tiniest bacteria to the largest whales.
It really puts things in perspective, doesn't it?
It's mind-blowing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just about similarities. It's about the incredible resilience and diversity of life itself. Remember those extremophiles we talked about?
Oh, yeah, the ones that can survive in those crazy environments.
Those organisms that thrive in conditions that would just wipe out most other life forms.
They're like the ultimate survivors.
They're found in boiling hot springs, the frigid depths of the ocean, even buried deep underground. They challenge our very definition of what it means to be alive.
Like Pyrolobus fumarii, the one that loves heat.
Right. Proof that life can exist in the most extreme environments, places we might have thought were impossible.
Makes you wonder what else is out there, right? On other planets, maybe?
It does. It really does.
Thriving in conditions we can't even imagine.
It's a reminder that life finds a way,
It always does.
even in the face of incredible adversity. But turning back to our own planet, it's clear that we, humans, have had a significant impact on this interconnected web of life.
Yeah, for sure.
And not always for the better.
Unfortunately not.
Bryson doesn't shy away from the tough stuff. He talks about the dodo.
The dodo, what happened to them?
That flightless bird that went extinct because, they were basically sitting ducks for hungry sailors who landed on their island.
Oh, no, that's sad.
The dodo is a classic example of how, human activity can lead to extinction, sadly. And it's not just the dodo. We've seen massive extinctions of large mammals like mammoths and mastodons, likely due to a combination of climate change and human hunting.
A sobering thought.
And then there's climate change, the big one. We're pumping greenhouse gases into the atmosphere at an alarming rate, and the planet is warming up.
It's a serious issue.
Bryson reminds us that these kinds of rapid climate shifts have happened before.
Like
the Younger Dryas event, where temperatures just plummeted and the planet experienced this 1,000-year cold snap.
1,000 years, wow.
The Younger Dryas event is a stark reminder that climate change can happen abruptly and with dramatic consequences. And while the Earth has experienced these natural climate shifts in the past, what we're seeing now is largely driven by human activity.
It is a bit worrying, isn't it?
It's a sobering thought. So after this whirlwind tour of nearly everything from the Big Bang to the impact of humans on the planet,
Right.
what are the key takeaways? What do we do with all this knowledge?
Well, I think a short history of nearly everything offers a few important lessons.
Okay.
First, it highlights the power of scientific understanding. The more we know about our planet, the interconnectedness of life, the better equipped we are to make informed decisions.
It's about recognizing that we're not just along for the ride on this planet, right?
Yeah.
We're active participants,
Exactly.
and our actions have consequences.
For sure. Second, the book emphasizes the power of human curiosity and ingenuity. We've made incredible strides in understanding the universe and our place in it,
Right.
and we have the potential to use that knowledge to find solutions to the challenges we face.
Start harnessing that sense of wonder and using it to drive,
Yeah,
innovation and problem solving. It's about believing that we can make a
I
difference.
don't like that.
And finally, and perhaps most importantly, a short history of nearly everything reminds us of the sheer wonder and beauty of the universe
It really does.
and the preciousness of life on Earth.
We need to protect what we have.
It's about appreciating this incredible planet,
Hmm.
we call home, and recognizing our responsibility to protect it for future generations.
For sure. It's a legacy we need to leave behind.
So we've reached the end of our deep dive, and I have to say, I'm feeling this mix of awe, excitement, and honestly a little bit of anxiety.
Yeah. I get that the universe is vast and mysterious, and our planet faces some serious challenges, but I believe knowledge is empowering. The more we understand, the better equipped we are to act.
Right. So here's a final thought for you, dear listener. Now that you've gotten this glimpse of the vastness of time, the interconnectedness of life, and the fragility of our planet, how does this change your perspective? What will you do with this newfound knowledge? Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep that sense of wonder alive. That's what science and life are all about.